Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to Bible in a Year with Lovie. We are on day 59. We're reading the Life Application Study Bible, 3rd edition, New Living Translation for anybody interested in following along. Today we are going to start with Numbers. We're going to read 17 through 19, then we're going to flip over to Mark chapter 6 and finish it off. So if you guys are ready, let's just dive right in. Numbers chapter 17. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the people of Israel to bring you 12 wooden staffs, one from each leader of Israel's ancestral tribes, and inscribe each leader's name on his staff. Inscribe Aaron's name on the staff of the tribe of Levi, for there must be one staff for the leader of each ancestral tribe. Place these staffs in the tabernacle in front of the ark containing the tablets of the covenant, where I meet with you. Buds will sprout on the staff belonging to the man I choose. Then I will finally put an end to the people's murmuring and complaining against you." So Moses gave the instructions to the people of Israel, and each of the 12 tribal leaders, including Aaron, brought Moses a staff. Moses placed the staffs in the Lord's presence in the tabernacle of the covenant. When he went into the tabernacle of the covenant the next day, he found that Aaron's staff, representing the tribe of Levi, had sprouted, budded, and blossomed, and produced ripe almonds. When Moses brought all the staffs out from the Lord's presence, he showed them to the people. Each man claimed his own staff, and the Lord said to Moses, "Place Aaron's staff permanently before the Ark of the Covenant to serve as a warning to rebels. This should put an end to their covenant to serve as a warning." My bad. I messed that up. "This should put an end to their complaints against me and prevent any further deaths." So Moses did as the Lord commanded him. Then the people of Israel said to Moses, "Look, we are doomed. We are dead. We are ruined. Everyone who even comes close to the tabernacle of the Lord dies. Are we all doomed to die?" Now I just want to remind y'all, yesterday we read where Korah started a rebellion, and it was just crazy. Anyways, the Lord opened the earth and swallowed up the main rebels. Their tents, their household, their children, their wives. The earth opened up and swallowed them, and the people could hear them crying from beneath the earth because they were buried alive. Okay, and then the other 200 and some odd people who were, in the who were agreed with them, who were in the group, God burned them to death in front of all the people of Israel. Like, they witnessed that. So yeah, and I'd be scared too, but if they weren't rebelling against God, they wouldn't have a reason to be scared, right? 18. Then the Lord said to Aaron, "You and your sons and your relatives from the tribe of Levi will be held responsible for any offenses related to the sanctuary. But you and your sons alone will be held responsible for violations connected with the priesthood. Bring your relatives of the tribe of Levi, your ancestral tribe, to assist you and your sons as you perform the sacred duties in front of the tabernacle of the covenant. But as the Levites go about all their assigned duties at the tabernacle, they must be careful not to go near any of the sacred objects or the altar. If they do, both you and they will die. The Levites must join you in fulfilling their responsibilities for the care and maintenance of the tabernacle, but no unauthorized person may assist you." He said, "Man, look, I'm holding you responsible for this. And if they mess up, bro, you and them gonna die." That's like telling him, "Look, you will be the leader. You gonna step up and lead, or you gonna die. You're gonna be responsible, or I'm gonna take your life and theirs." You yourselves must perform the sacred duties inside the sanctuary and at the altar. If you follow these instructions, the Lord's anger will never again blaze against the people of Israel. I myself have chosen your fellow Levites from among the Israelites to be your special assistants. They're a gift to you, dedicated to the Lord for service in the tabernacle. But you and your sons, the priests, must personally handle all the priestly rituals associated with the altar and with everything behind the inner curtain. I'm giving you the priesthood as your special privilege of service. Any unauthorized person who comes too near the sanctuary will be put to death. The Lord gave these further instructions to Aaron. I myself have put you in charge of all the holy offerings that are brought to me by the people of Israel. I have given all these consecrated offerings to you and your sons as a permanent share. You are allotted the portion of the most holy offerings that is not burned on the fire. This portion of all the most holy offerings, including the grain offerings, sin offerings, and guilt offerings, will be most holy, and it belongs to you and your sons. You must eat it as a most holy offering. All the males may eat of it, and you must treat it as most holy. All the sacred offerings and special offerings presented to me when the Israelites lift them up before the altar also belongs to you. I have given them to you and to your sons and daughters as your permanent share. To your sons and daughters as your permanent share. Yeah. Any member of your family who is ceremonially clean may eat these offerings. I also give you the harvest gifts brought by the people as offerings to the Lord. The best of the olive oil, new wine, and grain. All the first crops of their land that the people present to the Lord belong to you. Any member of your family who is ceremonially clean may eat this food. Everything in Israel that is specially set apart for the Lord also belongs to you. The firstborn of every mother, whether human or animal, that is offered to the Lord will be yours. But you must always redeem your firstborn sons and the firstborn of the ceremonially unclean animals. Redeem them when they are 1 month old. The redemption price is 5 pieces of silver, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel, which equals 20 gerahs. 5 shekels is equal to 2 ounces or 57 grams. To put it in our measurements. However, you may not redeem the firstborn of cattle, sheep, or goats. They are holy and have been set apart for the Lord. Sprinkle their blood on the altar and burn their fat as a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. The meat of these animals will be yours, just like the breast and right thigh that are presented by lifting them up as a special offering before the altar. Yes, I'm giving you all these holy offerings that the people of Israel bring to the Lord. They are for you and your sons and daughters to be eaten as your permanent share. This is an eternal and unbreakable covenant between the Lord and you, and it also applies to your descendants. And the Lord said to Aaron, you priests will receive no allotment of land or share of property among the people of Israel. I am your share and your allotment. Man, that's powerful. He said, I am your share and your allotment. You don't need nothing else. You got me. Man. As for the tribe of Levi, your relatives, I will compensate them for their service in the tabernacle. Instead of an allotment of land, I will give them the tithes from the entire land of Israel. From now on, no Israelites except priests or Levites may approach the tabernacle. If they come too near, they will be judged guilty and will die. Only the Levites may serve at the tabernacle, and they will be held responsible for any offenses against it. This is a permanent law for you to be observed from generation to generation. The Levites will receive no allotment of land among the Israelites, because I have given them the Israelites' tithes, which have been presented as sacred offerings to the Lord. This will be the Levites' share. That is why I said, they would receive no allotment of land among the Israelites. The Lord also told Moses, "Give these instructions to the Levites. When you receive from the people of Israel the tithes I have assigned as your allotment, give a tenth of the tithes you receive, a tithe of the tithe, to the Lord as a sacred offering. The Lord will consider this offering to be your harvest offering, as though it were the first grain from your own threshing floor or wine from your own winepress. You must present 1/10 of the tithe received from the Israelites as a sacred offering to the Lord. This is the Lord's sacred portion, and you must present it to Aaron the priest. Be sure to give the Lord the best portions of the gifts given to you. Be sure to give the Lord the best portion of the gifts given to you. Period. You get paid, give him his first before you do anything else. Look, I'm talking to myself too, because God's talking to me in this. We have to pay our tithes. We have to. Like, look, I got to get back to paying my tithes. I've been slipping, and God's just really showing me right now that I got to get back to that. We got to give him his. Give him what's his. Where was I at? And he wants the best portion of the gifts given to you. So, don't just give him what you earned. Give him what you were blessed with. You know, give him what someone gifted you. Give him the best of it. I mean, because let's just be real. None of the stuff we have, nothing, none of this. We can't take none of this with us when we go. What do we need it for? But if we can give it back to God, if we can increase the kingdom by, blessing others with the stuff that we have, like, isn't that far better? Isn't winning souls? Isn't showing kindness? Isn't loving one another just as God has loved us, just as Christ loved the church? Isn't that far more important than all this material crap? We can't take nothing with us when we go. So, as a reminder to my own self, I need to give God the best portion of everything. Thank you, Lord, for that revelation. Also, give these instructions to the Levites. When you present the best part of your offering, it will be considered as though it came from your own threshing floor or winepress. You Levites and your families may eat this food anywhere you wish, for it is your compensation for serving in the tabernacle. You will not be considered guilty for accepting the Lord's tithes if you give the best portion to the priest. But be careful not to treat the holy gifts of the people of Israel as though they were common. If you do, you will die. Let's say you have a ministry and somebody wants to sow into it, right? And so they bless you with something for your ministry. And like that blessing came from God. You didn't have to ask for it. It's just something they blessed you with. You need to take 10% and give it back to God. I haven't had to deal with that yet because I haven't, no, I'm not going to say I haven't received any blessings from my ministry. Financially, I haven't received any blessings from my ministry. And that's okay, because in time, if it's God's will, it'll happen. Right now, I feed these kids out of my own pocket, and that's okay because God provides me the money to be able to do it. But if you're in ministry and somebody blesses you, you need to take 10% of that and then give it back to God. It's sacred. It's his portion. Give it back to God. Pay tithes at the church you go to. Your preacher got to pay bills too, Anyways. 19. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Here is another legal requirement commanded by the Lord. Tell the people of Israel to bring you a red heifer, a perfect animal that has no defects and has never been yoked to a plow. Give it to Eleazar the priest, and it will be taken outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence. Eleazar will take some of its blood on his finger and sprinkle it 7 times toward the front of the tabernacle. As Eleazar watches, the heifer must be burned, its hide, meat, blood, and dung. Eleazar the priest must then take a stick of cedar, a hyssop branch, and some scarlet yarn, and throw them into the fire where the heifer is burning. Then the priest must wash his clothes and bathe himself in water. Afterward, he may return to the camp, though he will remain ceremonially unclean until evening. The man who burns the animal must also wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and he too will remain unclean until evening. Then someone who is ceremonially clean will gather up the ashes of the heifer and deposit them in a purified place outside the camp. They will be kept there for the community of Israel to use in the water for the purification ceremony. This ceremony is performed for the removal of sin. The man who gathers up the ashes of the heifer must also wash his clothes, and he will remain ceremonially unclean until evening. This is a permanent law for the people of Israel and any foreigners who live among them. All those who touch a dead human body will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days. They must purify themselves on the 3rd and 7th days with the water of purification. Then they will be purified. But if they do not do this on the 3rd and 7th days, they will continue to be unclean even after the 7th day. All those who touch a dead body and do not purify themselves in the proper way defile the Lord's tabernacle, and they will be cut off from the community of Israel. Since the water of purification was not sprinkled on them, their defilement continues. This is the ritual law that applies when someone dies inside a tent. All those who enter that tent and those who were inside when the death occurred will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days. Any open container in the tent that was not covered with the lid is also defiled. And if someone in an open field touches the corpse of someone who was killed with a sword or who died a natural death, or if someone touches a human bone or a grave, that person will be defiled for 7 days. To remove the defilement, put some of the ashes from the burnt purification offering in a jar and pour fresh water over them. Then someone who is ceremonially clean must take a hyssop branch and dip it into the water. That person must sprinkle the water on the tent, on all the furnishings in the tent, and on the people who were in the tent. Also, on the person who touched a human bone, or touched someone who was killed or who died naturally, or touched a grave. On the 3rd and 7th days, the person who is ceremonially clean must sprinkle the water on those who are defiled. Then, on the 7th day, the people being cleansed must wash their clothes and bathe themselves, and that evening they will be cleansed of their defilement. But those who become defiled and do not purify themselves will be cut off from the community, for they've defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. Since the water of purification has not been sprinkled on them, they remain defiled. This is a permanent law for the people. Those who sprinkle the water of purification must afterward wash their clothes, and anyone who then touches the water used for purification will remain defiled until evening. Anything and anyone that a defiled person touches will be ceremonially unclean until evening. And that's that for today. We'll pick up on Numbers chapter 20 tomorrow. And we'll read 20 through 22. But for right now, we're going to flip over to Mark chapter 6. Mark chapter 6. And we're going to pick up on verse 30. So where we left off was when John the Baptist got beheaded. Okay. This is one of the accounts of the life of Jesus, the walk of his ministry, what happened, all the different things along the way. And so this was the account of John the Baptist. Now we're going to pick up with verse 30. If y'all are ready, let's dive in. Mark chapter 6, verse 30. The apostles returned to Jesus from their ministry tour and told him all they had done and taught. Then Jesus said, "Let's go off by ourselves to a quiet place and rest a while." He said this because there were so many people coming and going that Jesus and his apostles didn't even have time to eat. So they left by boat for a quiet place where they could be alone. But many people recognized them and saw them leaving, and people from many towns ran ahead along the shore and got there ahead of them. Jesus saw the huge crowd as he stepped from the boat, and he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. Late in the afternoon, his disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the nearby farms and villages and buy something to eat." But Jesus said, "You feed them." "With what?" they asked. "We'd have to work for months to earn enough money to buy food for all these people." "How much bread do you have?" he asked. "Go and find out." They came back and reported, "We have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish." Then Jesus told the disciples to have the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of 50 or 100. Jesus took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looked up toward heaven, and blessed them. Then, breaking the loaves into pieces, he kept giving the bread to the disciples so they could distribute it to the people. He also divided the fish for everyone to share. They all ate as much as they wanted, and afterward the disciples picked up 12 baskets of leftover bread and fish. A total of 5,000 men and their families were fed. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Immediately after this, Jesus insisted that his disciples get back into the boat and head across the lake to Bethsaida, while he sent the people home. After telling everybody goodbye, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. Late that night, the disciples were in their boat in the middle of the lake, and Jesus was alone on land. He saw that they were in serious trouble, rowing hard and struggling against the wind and waves. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came toward them, walking on the water. He intended to go past them, but when they saw him walking on the water, they cried out in terror, thinking he was a ghost. They were all terrified when they saw him. But Jesus spoke to them at once. "Don't be afraid," he said. "Take courage. I'm here." Then he climbed into the boat, and the wind stopped, and they were totally amazed, for they still didn't understand the significance of the miracle of the loaves. Their hearts were too hard to take it in. After they had crossed the lake, they landed at Gennesaret. They brought the boat to shore and climbed out. The people recognized Jesus at once, and they ran throughout the whole area, carrying sick people on mats to wherever they heard he was. Wherever he went, in villages, cities, or the countryside, they brought the sick out to the marketplaces. They begged him to let the sick touch at least the fringe of his robe, and all who touched him were healed. That way. All right. How much faith do you got? Do you believe that if you could just touch the hem of his robe, you could be healed? They did. I'm really glad you guys tune in, and I really pray that y'all are getting something from this. It's really a blessing to me to be able to be on a platform sharing, the Word of God. I just want to share the Word of God with everybody. So I'm really grateful for those of you who tune in every day, man. I really appreciate it. And I love y'all, man. And I just want y'all to remember that if you want to see a change, you have to be the change. We really do lead by example and follow by design. We're like, if I can lead just one person to the Lord through these videos, then I know that one person was the one that God left the 99 for. So I'm incredibly grateful to even have a small following. And I love you guys, man. If it ain't a God thing, it ain't a good thing. God will give you discernment to know the difference. With that said, I really pray that y'all have a blessed rest of the day, and don't forget to go out and love like Jesus. I'll see y'all tomorrow.